tell you what we're going to be talking about today. We've got Julie Green on screen here. On my main channel, I try my absolute hardest to keep it to religion. I have another channel, my Fireside Chat channel, where I talk about politics and religion. And then I have Unfiltered, where I just kind of stream and hang out and whatever. Basically what we're doing tonight. But I have trouble separating politics and religion when it comes to Donald Trump. It's because a full-blown theology has formed around Trump. This is one of the Trump prophets, for lack of a better term. I don't know how else to say it. This is a Trump prophet, Julie Green. I've talked about her a lot on my, on my Fireside Chat channel. I've talked about her a few times on here too. Let's listen to what she has to say. While we do, we're going to play some Metroid Fusion. It should just be in the background. If you never played it, won't bother you too much. Just a little bit of lead up to this. I want to mention, when you hear Julie Green talk, she is giving you messages from God. These are prophecies sent from the Almighty. That's how you're supposed to view this. Not even joking here. Oh, and obviously the prophecies fail more often than they don't. Let me just show you like one classic example of this person. Let me find a good one. I think this one is from around 2022, like September, October 2022.
Ilhan Omer.
Love how she says that.
You are a snake in the grass. You were a spy sent from your land to get everything you could to give it back to the nation that you serve. I am ripping the information out of your hands and your mouth will be shut.
Again, God is giving this message, okay? God is communicating this in this person's mind and in the minds of her followers. Seriously, she's got like hundreds of thousands of subbies. She's not a nobody. Oh, she knows Donald Trump Jr. She knows Eric Trump. I mean, we're talking somebody who's very well connected.
You infiltrated my nation, and that is the last thing you will ever do. Your nation is letting you fall for them. You have no one on your side to save you. And the great I am is against you, and you will fall for your treacherous acts.
So anyway, that's her her little thing on Ilhan Omar, if you will. Ilhan Omar. Here's another one where she talks about loving Donald Trump so much. Oh, this one was from August 3rd, 2022.
Donald Trump, my son, do not doubt me and do not doubt what I will do for you. I'll protect whom you love, and I'll protect this nation.
Again, message from God here.
From what you are being told is possible, and it could be the worst case scenarios. This will not happen. I will not allow your enemies to go that far.
Literally crying.
I know it's hard to imagine less casualties in a situation like this. But I have done this in my word before.
So the prophecy that she's talking about right now is, well, she's basically speaking for God, and God is telling Donald Trump that he needs to just walk into the White House and take the presidency. Like, don't even bother, trying to get elected or any of that stuff. Don't even worry about Biden. Just walk in, sit down at the Resolute desk or whatever the hell it is. And just like that, you're president. God will push things out of the way supernaturally. I'm not even joking. That's a quote.
My son, go to 2 Chronicles 20 in my written word and read what I did for my people.
Just listen to the pronouns she's using. In my written word that I did for my people.
Enemies fought each other, and none on my side were lost. This is possible. Get in prayer with me. Surround yourselves with people who can pray with authority.
She's crying. Oh my God. She says if Trump just gets in prayer with God, then God will affirm that she's telling the truth, that he just needs to walk into the White House and take over. This is insane. By the way, this was posted to, this was from Rumble, I believe, but it was posted to TikTok by an account called MedBeds. God, there's so much deep lore here, so much QAnon deep lore. Medbeds are this thing that, all right, so there are these lizard people that run the earth, right? The bad guys, the lizard people, they're called Arcturians in these people's minds. Dead serious. They think that these Arcturian lizard people are aliens that came to Earth to take us over, and they succeeded. And they believe that there are some good lizard people that have access to med beds, and these med beds are they can heal anything. They're like Bacta tanks in Star Wars or whatever. Insane. Anyways, God, it's so crazy. All right, let's listen to Julie Green's latest prophecy we've got going on here. The title of the prophecy is The Coming Collapse. The Coming Collapse. I think that the prophecy's from January 7th, but she played this on January 14th.
And here is the prophetic word. Now, this word I heard on January 7th of 2024. So January 7th of...
Dude, I am wandering around aimlessly in this game. I've completely forgotten where I'm supposed to go.
2024, and it's called The Coming Collapse. A collapse is coming. A great collapse of the Washington establishment is coming. A collapse of their control, a collapse of their power.
Yeah, another claim by Julie Green and other QAnon nutcases is that God does not want Washington, D.C. to be the center of power anymore in the United States. He wants to move it more toward the center of the country because that's where all Trump supporters are, center of the country. And they're hoping that, they can install Trump as a dictator or whatever once he gets there to the new seat of government. Oh, my God, dude.
A collapse of their lies, a collapse of their media and their narrative, a collapse of their ability to hold on to my nation or to destroy it, a great collapse of the global governments, a great collapse of their financial system, a great collapse of their war of disinformation, a great collapse of their division that they have tried to use to weaken my nations. My children of Almighty God, come alive in me. Come alive to your victory.
You know what blows me away about this? The fact that she's so confident that she's speaking to God. It's disturbing because she's more confident than I am. I am 100% confident that she is not speaking to God. She's more confident than that she is. It's so bizarre to hear people this confident about anything, especially when they're confident, especially when their confidence is rooted in the idea that you're going to die because you're evil and God hates you and blah, blah, blah.
These are the days to see your enemies fall and their plans to crumble before the world. Just like all their symbolisms, their monuments, a great collapse of their deception that has held this nation under fraudulent elections. Now,
okay, the election was not fraudulent, it was not stolen or whatever. It was the most secure election in U.S. history. Just want to make sure that that's clear.
Hollywood had a big part in the illusion.
Hollywood had a part, okay. Kind of like, in her mind at least, Hollywood had a part in the illusion that is the moon landing. Now, I don't know if she's a moon landing denier, but I would put money on the idea she probably is.
Of things being one way when they were actually another. Their CGI, their movie sets, their actors, their masks, everything that Hollywood has done to steal this nation, to divide this nation, to seduce this nation, all the propaganda, all the influence to change the younger generation on what they believe and who they are. I'm restoring back to this nation everything, and back to each of my children what belongs to them, what has been taken away from them by your enemies, lies, trickery, deception, manipulation of your government.
Manipulation.
Of Hollywood and by the globalists.
Okay, so anyways, she has so many bizarre beliefs about George Soros and the Jews taking everything over and blah, blah, blah. It's crazy, man. By the way, I see somebody said that the games ruin my videos. Well, I only play games on my main channel on Tuesday night in live stream form. You don't have to watch if you don't want to. But I sit here and do this for hours and hours every day. Listen to nutcases say all kinds of crazy stuff. And I don't want to be bored to tears while I listen to these people. I want to have something to do as well. You guys have something to do. Listen to me. I have something to do. Play a game. So, anyways, I appreciate that you don't like it, but that's just what it is.
It's time for their horror show to end, once and for all. I'm exposing each and every one, judging them, removing them from the world to see. Just as I allowed my children to see the fall and the judgment against Pharaoh. This is that time. This is that year.
The judgment against Pharaoh, okay.
Where a nation will change in a day. Where freedom will be celebrated and restoration to be enjoyed.
Okay, wow. So all of that came from God, apparently. Jesus Christ, dude. Get help.
Your enemies will continue to pursue you in these coming months. But remember, they can't get through me.
Oh, that's funny that she says that because she said the exact same thing about like God's people or whatever, quote unquote, that the enemies wouldn't be able to get past God about Trump and the election. She said the same thing. And here we sit on the other side of the election with no Trump in office, huh? I thought people couldn't get past God. What happened? Is she and her followers, are they collectively ever going to realize or accept that she's just lying? That she does not hear the voice of God, never did. Do you think she believes that she hears the voice of God? Or is she just scamming people? In my opinion, I think she does believe it, honestly. I think she's a true believer in her own powers, bizarrely. Jesus, dude.
Saith the Lord of hosts.
Saith the Lord of hosts. Why?
Oprah Winfrey is about to be exposed in a major way.
Oh, yeah. They believe that Oprah Winfrey is like this big evil, like member of the cabal or whatever. Just insane.
And everything she has done and everyone with her will pay for their crimes.
Dude, I was just getting bodied by that Core X thing. Why could I not hit that damn thing just now?
Truth regarding Alec Baldwin and what happened on that set. I told you before, my children, this will not stay hidden.
Oh my God, dude. If you guys don't know what's happening in culture right now, this moment in history, Alec Baldwin, a while back, I don't know how long ago, a year maybe? I'm not even sure. He was filming a movie called Rust, and he was practicing his draw, basically, from my understanding. And the gun that he's practicing with was loaded with real ammo. The gun went off and killed somebody, killed a woman, and seriously injured somebody else. I don't remember what the fallout was from that, but anyway, I think he's being charged right now with manslaughter. Not 100% sure on that, but anyway, she's got a prophecy about it. She is 100% sure about it. This is just wild.
I will expose not only...
Oh, yeah, also, the Trumpists absolutely hate Alec Baldwin. They cannot stand the dude. I think it's because he played Donald Trump on Saturday Night Live when they were, like, making fun of him. And, you know, being their God Emperor, they cannot have that.
Only this death, but also there has been many covered up by Hollywood, the establishment, and the globalists. They thought they had covered their tracks and no one would ever know the truth. But I am exposing each murder, and justice will be served to all of them.
Any 5 minutes now, right? As Jehovah's Witnesses say, any 5 minutes. My introduction to this woman was actually a video. Let me see if I can find the very first video that I ever saw of hers. Okay, this one was from mid-August 2022.
They know Nancy can't handle the presidency.
Nancy Pelosi.
No, they know she's a drunk. But they know she is dying, and they helped with that.
She's dying?
They are now disposing of anyone they feel is no longer useful to them.
God, she's so cringy.
She failed the puppet masters with her 2 impeachments that didn't work. No assignment in anything they gave her against Trump, it didn't work.
Who is they? Are they in the room with us right now?
So now she is seen as a failure. Her days are coming to an end, and she will not last until the 2020 midterm elections.
Whoopsie daisy, you catch that one? She actually meant the 2022 midterm elections, because those were coming up shortly, leading up to this whole thing. But Nancy Pelosi lived through the 2022 midterms. Huh, how about that? I thought she was giving us a message from God. I thought God was speaking through her. What happened? She just straight up lied to her audience. She lied to them, she got it wrong, and they still listened to her. She spoke with God's voice. How does somebody come back from that? Oh my God, dude, I'm lost again. This is driving me nuts. I just played this game not long ago. Why is it that I cannot find my way out of this? And why can't Trump supporters see that she's just straight up scamming them? Anyway, the point is that she gets things wrong constantly. This isn't even close to the first prophecy that she's gotten wrong. She gets prophecies wrong like nonstop. Back to our modern day prophecy here that she's working on.
Hold on, because the truth regarding Epstein is not finished. It's far worse than has been revealed. It goes deeper than just what has been on the surface. A collapse of this wall and all who are behind it, and all that they have done, is soon about to blow wide open, bringing down many in your government, along with Hollywood, corporate America, and judges as well.
Bringing down judges and corporate America. Okay. Any minute now.
Get ready for this flood of information to start pouring out from everywhere. Their dam of lies is breaking, and truth will flood this nation and destroy their chokehold, saith the Lord.
Saith the Lord.
British Virgin Islands will be in your news for surprising reason.
Dude, I do not even know where I'm going right now. I completely forgot where to go here. Like, I am so lost. How did I get this lost? It's like literally the first 5 minutes of the game, and I just played this like a month ago. What is going on right now?
Major offshore accounts held by the establishment. Biden, Obama, Hillary, Nancy, and so many others are about to be exposed.
I mean, you didn't get your last claim correct about Nancy, so why should I believe this one? And what happens when it doesn't work? What happens when you're wrong again? As she will be. You know, there's a little trick these people play, these supposed prophets of God. They make bizarre claims that have no basis in reality whatsoever, and then they make them again and again and again and again and again, and they keep on going. Nancy Pelosi is going to die before the 2022 midterms. When it doesn't happen, Nancy Pelosi is going to die before the 2024 election. When it doesn't happen, I mean, they just keep going. And one of these times, she's going to be right. Not because she had some kind of clairvoyance, but it'll be used that way, certainly. They're going to pass this clip around Telegram and Trump nutcase groups like it's candy, just passing that thing all over the place. But they're going to completely forget about the other 9,000 times that she was wrong. Such a cheap trick. And it's the kind of thing that makes me wonder, does she really not know that she's lying? Does she really believe all of this herself? I still think she believes it. I think she thinks she's hearing the voice of God, honestly. Tell me what you think in the comments.
Get ready for a break in many cases where they followed the money and found their secrets. Even more truth on how they have defrauded this nation, stolen from this country, and who they were paid by.
Who is they? Seriously, who they were paid by? They are going to have their finances, blah, 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 whatever. Who is they?
Many foreign governments to do it, along with stealing your tax money. O United States, a great evil has been hidden, an evil so dark and so wicked, it'll be hard to hear. So be prepared to hear these things that will bring this great collapse of your enemies. A collapse of every indictment against my David is about to be seen.
My David is Donald Trump. That's basically what she believes. King David was really influential in Jewish history. Kind of united the entire Levant area under the name of Yahweh or whatever. And she thinks that Trump is, I almost said she thinks that God. She thinks that Trump is playing the same role, that he's going to unite the world under in the name of God, and it's going to he's going to fulfill the role that Jesus was expected to fulfill when he came to like a second time when he returned. So yeah, when she says he's King David or he's King Cyrus, that means she thinks that he's the Son of Man, the second coming. Not in personality, but just the role that he's going to fulfill is as the second coming.
They're all falling apart, like I said they would. And I have had people infiltrating every one of these people that have been going after your rightful president with these false allegations. And I have caught them all red-handed and allowed certain things for them to do.
Wow. She's saying that God caught all of the people red-handed that are charging Trump with crimes or whatever. She caught them, or I'm sorry, God caught these people lying. Okay, great. Well, give me the evidence. If you caught them red-handed, let's see it. Show me. All I need is a little bit of evidence. That is all I'm looking for here. She never provides the evidence. And she doesn't need to. Her followers will believe her no matter what, even though she isn't providing evidence.
For their ultimate
I don't think I'm supposed to be here yet.
fall. Again, I say, these are the days of Haman. Your enemies are about to experience everything that they have sown. They are about to reap a great harvest of destruction.
I find it so interesting that she talks about seed time and harvest, the great harvest, blah, blah, blah. I'm writing a book right now. I got a timeline on when the book is probably going to be released. I'm looking at about 2 months from now is when it'll be released. So I'm not sure that I'm going to do a pre-order system yet. I haven't opened it up for people to pre-order yet or anything. But anyways, the point that I was getting to is that Charles Taze Russell, one of the people who's the subject of my book, the guy who started Jehovah's Witnesses, had these beliefs about the end of the harvest, basically. He thought that it was going to be the end of the harvest in 1874, and he had some super convincing Bible math, that showed that it's 100% real. And he even had multiple lines of evidence to prove it. His multiple lines of evidence: he measured the Pyramid of Giza, and the inches, the pyramid inches, not normal inches, but the pyramid inches, which, by the way, he made up. Well, not him, but it's a made-up measurement. The pyramid inches added up to 1874. Evidence, see? More proof that the harvest is coming in 1874. That's 2 lines of evidence. Got one from the book of Daniel, and some completely backwards calculation from some weird number he dug up out of there. That added up to 1874. And now the pyramid measurement adds up. You know, people have been predicting the quote-unquote end of the harvest, or the time of seed, or the seed time and harvest, or whatever. They've been predicting that for, well, I'm sorry, not predicting. They've been prophesying that forever. It hasn't happened yet. It's not going to. And it is absurd to me that people are still, after all of the failures of people before them, they're still claiming that the time of harvest is on its way. Are these people ever going to learn from false prophecies? You know, the Millerites, religious group, came right before Jehovah's Witnesses. They made these big prophecies about 1798, 1799, 1843, 1844, and they were wrong every single time. And what did Charles Taze Russell do? Founder of Jehovah's Witnesses, he came in, he said, oh yeah, I love that math. That math looks great. I just think you had the variables wrong. I think we should move them around instead of looking at when, I don't know, the temple of, like Solomon's temple was rebuilt. We should be looking at when it was destroyed and blah, blah, blah. It's just insane. Guys, come back to reality. That includes Julie Green. Come back to reality, I'm begging you. They just live in this bizarre fantasy where they're like the heroes of everything. And God is coming in to save them and vindicate them and all this other stuff. Please, come back to reality with everybody else, people.
I will tell you again, my children, things are not how they appear to be with Charles.
King Charles, I guess. Talking about the king of Britain, right? Right now.
They are not how they appear to be with the royal family. A great collapse is coming.
Oh, by the way, this is another tactic that they like to use, these supposed prophets of God. They say really, really vague stuff and claim that this stuff will be in the news. You know, King Charles will be in the news. The royal family will be in the news. And victory will be on God's lips, or some other nonsense. So next time people see a story about the royal family, they'll think that Julie Green was correct in her prophecy when she didn't even say anything. Here's another. You guys remember Herschel Walker? I don't know if you remember this dude, but God, back in, when was this, like 2020, 2022? I don't know. I think 2022. Yeah, it was 2022. He was running for Senate in Georgia. He was trying to be the senator, and he lost to Ossoff, I think. John Ossoff, or maybe it was Raphael Warnock. Anyways, he lost is the point. Lost his little election. But who did we have coming out here claiming that he was going to win in the name of God? Why, our old buddy Julie Green.
My children, many warnings I have given to you, but there is coming a day that it will be too late. So listen to these words and listen to my prophets. And dare to believe me more than your enemies, more than religion, more than the news stations, more than the governments, more than your doctors.
Believe me. And when she says me, of course, she's talking about herself, but she wants people to think she's talking about God.
More than your bank accounts. Dare to believe me more than what you see and what you hear. Herschel Walker will be in the news, and victory will be with his name.
Oops. Yeah. Might want to scrub that from the internet, right? Another failed prophecy. I mean, how many does this woman have under her belt by now? Thousands, maybe. Hundreds at the very least, right? She's got so many failed prophecies under her belt that it's ridiculous. So anyways, it's just absolutely absurd. This woman is absurd.
For them as well. A collapse of the Ukrainian government, a collapse of the Chinese government, a collapse of the Canadian government, a collapse of the Australian government, a collapse of the government of France, and of course, the collapse of the Biden supposed administration and that government. The Washington establishment has.
So she's saying right now, directly, unequivocally, without question, China is going to fall. The Chinese government will fall. That's what she's saying. And when that doesn't happen, she's just going to forget it. She's going to pretend she never said it.
Has put in place is about to fall hard and fall fast. So get ready for a collapse, one after another, to bring back freedom like never before.
Freedom!
Saith the Lord, your Redeemer. So again, what is God saying to us in these prophetic words? How many times, I don't even know, I didn't count it, but how many times did he use the word collapse?
I mean, God didn't use the word collapse anywhere through there at all, because God wasn't giving this message. You were. This is just embarrassing.
And if you think of collapse, you think of a collapse of a building, or, some people think of collapse as the stock market and things like that. When I think of a collapse, I think of like the collapse of the walls of Jericho, something that was so structurally sound, something that was so massive, so big, so it looks like so strong, it was impenetrable, and nothing was able going to be to ever destroy that. It was going to be there forever. And so what God showed his people, it doesn't matter how big, it doesn't matter how tall, it doesn't matter how wide, it doesn't matter how strong anything is, God is bigger. And no matter how long something has been there, it only takes God. It only takes a moment. It only takes a day, or whatever you want to say. But God can do everything because there's nothing impossible for him. So we've seen these walls that are built up against us. We see these governments, and we see these laws, and we see all of these things that are against us on a daily basis. And we think these walls are impenetrable. We think these people are too big.
So she's saying Trump supporters believe that they're destined to lose because they're up against too much, the cabal, the deep state, and all the people that hate Trump. They're coming after him, and they're not going to win, though. God prophesied that they're going to lose. These walls seem impenetrable, but QAnon will win out at the end of the day.
There's too much money. There's too much of this establishment. There's too much of a foundation that they have built, and they have dug so deep that is not going to collapse at all. But God is saying that's the farthest thing from the truth. Remember who's in control. And it's not the enemies of Almighty God. It's God himself.
Okay, great. Well, once I see a little bit of evidence for that, I just need a little, then I'll believe you. Not a second sooner. She has proven herself to be a liar.
He allows certain things to take place. Of course he does.
What? Why? She prophesied that Trump would win the election. I believe she was one of them. I can't imagine she didn't. Come to think of it, I don't remember actually seeing that video. But anyway, she claimed that she likely claimed that Trump would win the election. And when that didn't happen, what did she do? She just pretended that Trump was really secretly the president, and that God was allowing all of this to happen so that whatever, the deep state will be taken down and exposed and blah, blah, blah. Did that ever happen? Did the deep state ever get exposed? Did we ever find out that, Trump was really the president after all and all that other junk? She just expects people to forget it, is all.
He allows certain things to take place for their ultimate fall. It's like the walls of Jericho. He let the walls of Jericho be built. But also, what was so awesome about that is not only how big they were and how intimidating it might have looked for God's people. But God said, that was nothing impossible for me. And I'm going to show you that I am the Most High God. And that's exactly what he did for his people.
Like, why is God allowing this stuff? Why is it that he's not just coming in and correcting all of this stuff that she believes he wants? Why did he allow Trump to lose? You're completely nonsensical.
People. They saw the collapse of the wall of Jericho, of that was against them
it crumbled and fell right in front of their face. I want to show you something else. When I was reading the Bible this morning and wanting to know where the Lord wanted me to go with these scriptures for this prophecy.
Look, maybe God is not giving you specific, direct information straight into your head the way you're claiming. And maybe the verses in the Bible were just meant to be read like they're verses in the Bible. They weren't meant to be like pulled apart and dissected every which way. Jehovah's Witnesses' whole basis for their like end times prophecies revolve around random dates and random numbers that they find in various verses in the Bible. So I'm not even joking, completely random. Like there's one section of the book of Daniel that says it will take, I think it says something like, it will take a time, 2 times, and half a time. What is it? And then they like dissect that and say, well, a time is traditionally considered to be a year in Bible language. So we're talking 3.5 years. But if we take the day-year principle and expand this out, 3.5 times is 1,260, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even joking. I'm not making any of this up. This is real. They dissect it into the ground. And that seems to be what Julie Green is doing right now. She's doing the exact same garbage that Jehovah's Witnesses do. Insane.
And he took me to the book of Exodus. I know most of you are surprised.
He didn't take you to the book of Exodus because you're not hearing the voice of God directly.
Since I'm like known as an Exodus preacher, but Exodus chapter 1.
No, I don't see her as the Exodus preacher. I wonder who sees her as the Exodus preacher. I know her as that nutty QAnoner who insists that, like, Trump is going to take over and all this other junk. Whoa, hello there, kitty. Okay, cat wants to sit up here with me.
This was Pharaoh's plan, okay? This was Pharaoh's plan before God's people even know it was Pharaoh's plan. But God knew what Pharaoh was going to do.
Oh, that's right. It says that God hardened his heart, right? God hardened Pharaoh's heart, basically pushed him into doing something that hurt people. Why would he do that? Why would God push, Pharaoh into hurting his people? That doesn't make any sense at all. What the hell is happening right now?
And before the end of it all, Pharaoh was sitting there thinking he's built this plan. Everything's going to go his plan because he's the most powerful. He's so intelligent. And God was saying, watch out. You do this against my people, and I'm going to show you who's really in charge. And God's people not only saw that for themselves, but so did the Egyptians in many different ways with the plagues and, of course, the Red Sea.
Okay, great. Well, once we start seeing God punish people for not putting Trump into the White House as a dictator, then I'll start to believe it. Maybe. I'll think about it. Until that point, she is straight up lying. One way or another, she lied. I don't know if it's now. I don't know if it was then. I don't know. But I do know that Nancy Pelosi didn't die before the 2022 midterms. I do know that Herschel Walker did not win the Georgia election. I know that Bill Clinton didn't die, as she claimed previously. I know that the seat of government won't move from Washington, D.C. to, like, Missouri or something. I know that she's lying about some things. And you know what the Bible says, Deuteronomy 18:22. The guide that people needed to determine if they were hearing a false prophet. If what that prophet says does not come true, they spoke presumptuously. They did not speak in God's name, and you should not be alarmed. You should pay no attention to them. You should ignore it completely.
But I'm going to show you Pharaoh's plan first. So we have seen our enemies' plans play out, and they're still playing out today.
We see, they've stolen elections. We see that they have a global government. You see that they are controlling the FDA. You see that they're
My God, people. Jesus.
controlling all of the economy. You see they're controlling big pharma. They're controlling the corporate America. They're controlling everything around the world, it seems like. Of course, they have, billions and trillions of dollars in their pockets, and that they're exposed.
Trillions of dollars in their pocket, you say? Okay.
That they can just do whatever they want at their exposure. They have all this money, and they have money. Money is power, right? Well, they're forgetting one thing: who has the ultimate power? That is Almighty God. So again, it may appear one way when it's actually another. So I want to show you something in the book of Exodus, chapter 1. Now, this was a telltale sign of Pharaoh.
Oh, telltale sign.
And his panic against God's people. Now, God's people had no idea that Pharaoh was panicked because of how many there were. They had no idea that Pharaoh was actually afraid of them, because it looked like, Pharaoh was in control. It looked like he had everything he needed. It looked like he was, this person that he was never going to fail. He was never going to fall. Nothing was ever going to happen to him. He was in charge of the most powerful at that time nation in the world.
Dude, I don't even know what she's talking about. In the world, you say? You think that Egypt was the most powerful nation in the world? Did we forget about China and all of the shenaniganery that was going on over there? I love it how myopic these people's view of the world is. When it comes to, like, world powers, these people think that the only thing that existed was Israel and Egypt. And, I don't know, like, maybe some stuff in Europe or whatever. Julie Green doesn't even consider any other, continents, any other countries of any sort. She doesn't even think about it. China at the time, they had their own set of tribes that were forming out, basically. And I think the largest one is the Han Chinese, the Han tribe. I was reading about it a little bit, but I think that the Han ethnicity, HAN, makes up like 90% of the Chinese population now. There are some smaller ethnicities that exist, less populated ethnicities, but Han Chinese tribe was forming out and getting really powerful. But okay, yeah, you know what? Egypt was super strong, right? In fact, it was the strongest. Absolutely.
And it looked like he was just unstoppable. Well, that's how it appeared, but that's not how it actually was. So if you go to the book of Exodus, chapter 1, in verse 9. Oh, sorry. I'll start with verse 7. The children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, multiplied and grew exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. So God's people, says right here in verse 7, Exodus chapter 1 and verse 7, the children of Israel were fruitful, increased abundantly, multiplied, grew exceedingly mightily in the land, and was filled with them. So that was, God showing himself to his people, and they were mighty. They were blessed. They increased. Guess who also saw that? Verse 8. Now there arose a new king over Egypt who did not know Joseph. So you obviously know the story of Joseph, how Joseph was the second in command. This king and this Pharaoh of Egypt did not know Joseph.
Okay, so in the Bible narrative, which is not accurate to, actual reality, it does not represent reality in any way, more often than not. I mean, I guess that there are some things that happened that are semi-true, but anyway, the biblical narrative should not be trusted as history, is my point. Joseph was the son of, I don't remember, he was somebody, what was it, like, the son of, anyway, he was somebody really important, and his brothers couldn't stand him, so they sold him into slavery in Egypt, and he ended up being, like, really influential and important in Egypt because he was loyal to his master.
And he said to his people, look, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. They are more and mightier than we.
I guess that Pharaoh was saying this about the Israelites. I wonder if he's including Joseph in that? Anyways, eventually Joseph's brothers came and saw that he was powerful, and they were like, wow, that's awesome. We want you back. Come back and live with us again, you know? Sorry about all that selling you into slavery stuff. Didn't mean that.
I'm going to read the amplified version of this one.
Okay, why is she using the amp version of the Bible exactly? These people switch between, when I say these people, I mean right-wing QAnon extremists, Trump, basically people in the Trump religion. They switch between the King James, the amp version, amplified version, and, well, primarily those two, I guess you could say. Why do they switch between them when it's convenient? Either it's accurate to what was originally intended, or it's not. If you want an accurate translation of the Bible, as accurate as you can get, you're going to want to go with the NRSV version. It is the chosen Bible by scholars because it's about as accurate as it gets. It does not translate out doctrinal errors or translate in the beliefs that the translators had, unlike the NIV, for example.
He said to his people, behold, the Israelites are too many and too mighty for us, and they outnumber us both in people and in strength. The enemies knew it.
Okay, so she's saying that Pharaoh believed that the Israelites were stronger than him? Okay, I don't know if that was true at the time. Maybe.
God's people, unbeknownst to them, had no idea that Pharaoh feared them. Just like these people who were in control, they fear us because they know that we are more in number and that they know that we are mightier than they are.
No, they're not more in number. QAnoners, not even close. You are not mightier than anybody either, but you are willing to do absolutely psychotic stuff. Like break into Nancy Pelosi's house, for example, and nearly kill her husband with a hammer, for example. Just tossing that one out there, you know. I fear these people for that reason. Because they're absolutely unglued from reality and willing to do anything. It's insane. Oh my God, I suck. I suck.
We have massive amounts of people, way more than they have. Why do you think they had to steal elections by cheating?
Nobody stole the election. There was no cheating happening. You live in a fantasy land.
Because they know they don't have the masses on their side and they are afraid of us. That's why they don't want to have legitimate elections, because they would lose. They would lose their power. They would lose their control.
Okay, there was no cheating in 2020. My God, she just keeps going, doesn't she? Come back to reality, Julie, please.
They would lose their establishment. They are afraid of you and I. Now they bring out fear, way horrible. I mean, it's like the fear is running rampant all over the place because they want to intimidate you. They want you to believe that they're the ones who are in control. They're the most powerful, and they will punish you if you fight them back. That's exactly what Pharaoh did. Look what happens. Verse 10, Exodus chapter 1 and verse 10.
Dude, I am sucking at this game. I was so much better at this game like last time around when I played it before, and I'm suddenly absolutely terrible at it. I don't know what happened.
Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply more, and should war befall us, they join our enemies, fight against us, and escape out of our land. They saw that if God's people would rise up and stand up against Pharaoh, and they would start a war against him, they would destroy him. They would take down Egypt, and he would have nothing to do about it. He could not stop them because he knew that they were greater and mightier than he was. So what?
Okay, I don't know what point she's trying to get at here. Like, get to it. What are you trying to say? I don't even know if this is, like, historically accurate. But for the sake of argument, sure, let's grant it. Now, get to the point. The Israelites were more powerful than the Egyptians at the time, okay?
What he had to do was to intimidate, oppress them, kill them, and enslave them.
Okay, so she's saying that because Pharaoh knew that he was weaker than the Israelites, he had to intimidate them. All right?
What did you think happened in our nation in January of 2021? That was intimidation.
You mean January 2021. The inauguration happened in January 2020. Is she talking about January 6th? What was intimidation? Well, she certainly doesn't believe that, Trump supporters attacking the Capitol building was intimidation. She is in favor of the January 6th people. So she must think that, like, people being arrested for attacking the Capitol is intimidation by the deep state. Okay.
That was to bring so much fear. There was over 1 million people in Washington that day.
No, there were not. Okay, maybe the city total, but not like at the Capitol building. I assume that's what she's trying to imply, right? There were over 1 million people at the Capitol building or at Trump's rally or whatever. No, not even close. From the estimates I've seen, I think that people who attacked the Capitol on January 6th, there were about 6,000 of them or so, I think. Crowd estimation is difficult.
To stand up for free and fair elections. And what did they do?
Wow. She thinks that the January 6th people were just standing up for free and fair elections. That's all they were doing. They were just there to represent their country. That's all.
They implanted people. They entrapped people before that. They made sure that they were there. They had FBI agents that were all over the place getting people to go inside the Capitol.
Complete nonsense. Completely made up. You know, the saddest part about this is that, like, their primary evidence, when I say they, I mean QAnoners and Julie Green specifically, their primary evidence for the idea that there were FBI agents in the crowd trying to push people to go into the Capitol and do illegal things. Their primary evidence is this guy named Ray Epps, who was 100% innocent. Well, he was not an FBI agent. He was a Trump nutcase. Always has been. And yeah, he was trying to get into the Capitol, but guess what? If the FBI pushes you into a crime, you still committed the crime. There's no, like, excuse to be had here, okay? I don't like some of the FBI's tactics. From time to time, they absolutely cross the line in flagrant, disgusting ways, the FBI does. But, you know, January 6th people were there, and there was a plan that already existed before the whole thing even happened to get people in and whip them up into a blood frenzy and use the word fight a lot in the speeches preceding the Capitol attack. That was 100% on Trump. Not the FBI.
Knowing they had this insurrection, supposedly, they could intimidate, bring so much fear that people would never protest again. They would never rise up again because of fear of being wrongfully imprisoned.
Wrongfully imprisoned. People will never protest because they'll be wrongfully imprisoned. Give me a break. So what's been happening in, all over the country over, like, Palestine and Israel? Were those not considered protests? Everyone's too afraid to protest, right? This woman is a joke. She needs help desperately, for real. This is insane. Anyway, I tell you what, I'm going to get off of here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It's been fun, and I will talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow morning. If not, I'll talk to you next week, okay?